Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to KGX to the Z TV. Appreciate everybody checking in. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. One of these days, I'll get better about uploading more content, more match previews, more match reviews. But we'll do a sort of like a 3-in-1 in this one, right? Keep it brief, not too long. So we'll do Shamrock Rovers match. We'll talk a little bit about the injuries and a little bit about Mudryk, and then also preview the Everton game. Big one, Goodison Park. Technically have a chance to go top of the table since we play ahead of Liverpool, and Liverpool has Spurs. I think Spurs are going to give them a decent game. Spurs seem to rise it versus the good teams, and then lose the. I don't say unexpected because they're Spurs, and you expect the unexpected, and they most inconsistent team there is. But we'll see. But getting back to it, so Shamrock, obviously heavy rotated side. Apart from Kukurea, who is suspended, so he came back in left back, kind of get his minutes, get some freshness in his legs, and then especially since we play Boxing Day after, so that gives him about a week. So that's typically what he normally has. So he should be good for then. But that means for this one. So obviously Kukurea at left back. We had Vega at left center back. So I thought Vega was actually going to sit out. But it looks like I don't know. We'll see what happens in the Everton preview, right? But we had the Sassy came in, and then Archipong, two youngsters, Archipong and George. Archipong obviously signed his contract and is being instantly rewarded. So you can see that Maresca rates him enough to sort of give him a chance. And I know, maybe he wouldn't be getting a chance if Reese wasn't injured, although Reese is back in training. So we'll see, although I'm sure we'll take it slow. But nice to see those two. Cassidy came back. He was suspended for the Atsana one. And then parting him, was Dewsbury Hall. And then we had Metaweke on the right side. So that was a little bit of a surprise. We had Nkuku in the 10. And then on the left side, we had Tyreek George. And then up top, we had Guy. And speaking of the devil, it was the Guy show, right? It was Shamrock trying to play expansive football against a team that is significantly more talented than them, probably better coached than them. What you expect in the difference, that's due to the golf and resources and which buys quality and all that stuff, right? So, Gui did his thing, capitalized off of two sort of errors, wayward passes. One of them was a pass back, but it just shows, and he's shown that since preseason. He's a handful. He's not. Even though he's a Spanish under 21 international, he's not very Spanish. What you would think of as a typical Spanish striker, right? You think of someone that's technical, that's got can shoot with both feet, can sort of link it a little bit, got a little bit of pace. I think of guys like David Villa, I think of guys like Raul, obviously. And he's much more physical. He's much more. He doesn't mind getting into a tussle. He doesn't mind throwing his body around and things like that. But he's got that work ethic, and credit to him. First one was a nice, header, brave, stuck his head in there, hit the post, bounced right back up. I was kind of surprised at that. Second one was a sort of a back pass that he intercepted, rounded the keeper, finished with the left foot from a very tight angle. Nice finish. You'd expect a Chelsea striker to do it, but he made it look easy, routine. And then the third goal, nice cross from Madueke. He gets his header, nice sort of not glancing header, but sort of unorthodox header, a little bit off his back foot. And just, good game. Didn't play a full game. Played about 65, 70 minutes, but was very impactful. Even though they got a goal back from a deflection off of a corner, obviously the golfing quality is immense, and you could see it. But we put them away, top of the group for the Conference League, by far the best goal difference. So we just wait. I think there's only 6 matches in the Conference League, unlike 8 for the Champions League. So I think I saw we don't play until March. So we'll see, because the squad could be very, very different come March. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We got, obviously, Mudryk getting suspended for or violating a drug test. Um, First sample came back positive. Second sample they're still waiting on, but from what I've read, it says there's like a 99% chance that um, most second tests come back positive as well, or most B samples come back positive as well if the first one tested positive. So it's not looking good for him. You're looking at a lengthy ban for a player that was already on the fringes, albeit improved a little bit this year. We've seen some pretty decent performances from him, especially in the Europa League, where he was kind of ripping things up. But yeah, not a good look for him. Another stereotypes: Eastern European, Ukrainian, play into it a little bit. He of course denies it. And who knows? I'm no scientist. I'm no chemist. I don't know what the substance is, what it exactly does. But that's a big blow for his career, especially for a guy that's like 23, 24, that is someone that strives off confidence, someone that is a workaholic. His work ethic is very crazy. So he wouldn't even be allowed in the training at Cobham in the training complex. So it would kill his career immediately. Not even thinking about the financial ramifications of Chelsea losing out on that transfer fee, although supposedly, if he does test positive for the B sample, we can release him due to a breach of contract. Um, but who knows? Who knows what the suspension will look like? Who knows if the club will stand by him and be patient and wait for him? Maybe they do and try to recoup some of it, but then you're looking at a lot of wages that we lost, that we would lose. And you've seen his minutes sort of go to Tyreek George. Not that George has sort of lit the world on fire and things like that. Definitely not at the level of Hudson-Odoi when he sort of burst on the scene and came through. But you've seen the manager play him on numerous times in the Conference League, and I'd imagine Mudryk facing that ban, those minutes that would have went to Mudryk are going to go to George. We'll probably bring some more first team players in there as we get later in the competition. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. Wish him the best as always, because he's always, despite him not living up to his transfer fee and sort of the hype, he's never been a distraction. He's always been someone that seems to get along with the rest of the team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Elsewhere, injuries. Lavia is a doubt for tomorrow for Everton, or he's a sort of a game time decision, a match time decision. James is back in training, which is good. Badia Shield and Fafana are definitely out to the end of or to the new year, which isn't that far. And this is much better than information in terms of the injury report than what we used to get last year with like currently undergoing rehabilitation program, stuff like that. And they never give you a timetable. So it's nice to know that that some folks are getting back healthy, and we're going to need them, because even with the fixtures that are sort of kind, when you look at them on paper, it's still a lot of fixtures, and you're rotating Colwell, your Tosin, and backup is probably Disassi right now. I don't know if I know Archibald played a little bit center back. At the youth level, it looks a little frail. I doubt that we would run him out in the league and things like that, except for maybe like if we have a result in hand, things like that. But yeah, we'll see. We're definitely going to need those folks back on the front line, the attacking front and midfield. We're good right now, knock on wood. Felix came back, got some minutes in the Conference League. And then apart from that, everyone else should be available up front. So get into the Everton match and Everton preview. So obviously, we've had some struggles at Goodison over the years, and especially over the last few years. You see all these stats online on Twitter, on X, whatever, and it always say Chelsea haven't won versus Brentford in 2 years, and you're like, all right. I mean, we've been pretty trash the last couple of years and things like that. So you see stats like, Chelsea have like 2 wins in the last 8 or something like that away to Goodison, and you're like, all right. I mean, in those last 8 years, we've probably had 2 or 3 good teams, and the rest have all been average Chelsea teams, or actually below average Chelsea teams. So we'll see. We know how they're going to set up, right? We've seen them play compact versus Arsenal, and while we're much better at creating chances than Arsenal, um, Arsenal has that set piece threat that we don't have. So and vice versa, right? They're good defenders of set pieces as well, right? So it needs to go both ways when it comes to set pieces, right? You got to have some guys that can offer a threat coming up from the back or wherever, and then you've got to be able to defend as a unit, right? Zonal marking, man to man, combination, whatever it is that your team rolls with. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Like I said, they're going to definitely set up in a low block. But something that's different is they don't have the counter threat that Brentford did. So when we played Brentford, obviously they sat back. They had Wissa, they had Mbuemo. They caught us at the end, 2-1, made it a little bit tighter than what we wanted. But Everton's going to sit in that low block. They're going to be compact. They're going to hit everything out, clear everything out, and we're really going to have to break them down and break down that open block. So it'll be interesting to see who he goes with, right? Maybe he goes with like a sort of a back three. He could go with a back three of Tosin, Vega, and Colwell, and sort of, put an extra attacker in there, knowing that Everton's going to play, sit back. They're going to be resolute. They're going to defend as a unit. Sean Dyche's teams are always very well organized and drilled. So maybe he throws an extra attacker on there. Maybe that's Felix in the half space to give him something, and then you've got Palmer in the other half space, and they're floating around. You've got Enzo in there. You've got Caicedo behind, sort of mopping things up, and then maybe you've got 2 touchline wingers, probably Sancho, probably your best 1v1 wingers. I'd probably put Madueke a little bit better 1v1 versus Neto, but Neto's in a little bit better form. So you probably put Sancho on them 1 touchline, the left one. You probably put Neto out right and sort of just let them kind of cut in, and Nico up top. Or you could bring Nkuku into that half space and sort of get him just as another person kind of in the box and get him in and around. We've seen him and Jackson have pretty decent link up play before. At times when they played, even though albeit briefly, mostly in the preseasons, mostly Poch's preseason. But yeah, we'll see what we've got options. That's one thing that is for sure, is that we have a plethora of attacking options. Like I mentioned before, folks are healthy. Some folks are in good form. Enzo's in really good form. Nico's in pretty decent form. Cole's just quality. So doesn't matter if he's in good form, bad form. He's always going to be a threat. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, they think I saw another stat where they've held clean sheets in like 4 out of their last like 6 home matches. And I think like 2 or 3 of them have been 0-0. So like I said, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be physical. The environment's, Goodison Park, they get on you. Last year of Goodison too, so it's going to be, every home game that they have, every home match is going to be special for them. So it's a big opportunity to, like I said, go top, continue the pressure. Right, we saw Arsenal dispatched of Palace 4-1, 5-1, I think. Even though Saka got hurt, was in crutches apparently with his hamstring, and Arteta mentioned it's not good, but they're on good form, or I wouldn't say good form. They're capable of going on good form, and they're still kind of close on our heels. We talked about Liverpool and Spurs a little bit before, and then we've got Villa, who absolutely destroyed, dismantled City today. So City dropping points, Villa sort of catching up to them. And then you got Forest who continues to play excellent and looks like they're going to be in and around it, and then definitely in and around those European spots. Newcastle, when they're healthy and firing, they're a very good squad. So it's still, it's still early. Still going to be a lot of time, and it's going to be a lot of games that you think you're going to expect 3 points, and you might just have to settle for a draw and hope that the results with those teams in and around you go your way. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, I still back us to win. I still think I think if we score 2 goals, it's over. I don't think Everton can score two, despite our defense, which can be porous at times or a little lackadaisical. Even though I was looking at the table earlier, and I think we're maybe fourth in goals against, which you're like, it's a little crazy, right? We gave up two to City, two away to Wolves, um, one at Old Trafford, one versus Arsenal. We did clean sheet versus West Ham, clean sheet versus Villa, I think. So I mean, we've given up some clean sheet away to Bournemouth. Yeah, I mean, credit to them. That was one of the biggest worries of mine. It's still the big one of the probably the biggest worry of mine now, that in the keeping. Although Sanchez has been pretty decent lately, so you got to give him credit, right? If you're going to criticize him, you got to be man enough or woman enough to give him his credit when he's playing well. But yeah, we'll see, man. It's going to be tough. I think 2-1 Chelsea, but a rather comfortable 2-1. Like maybe they nick a goal at the end. Um, I'd love a 3-1 or 2-0. Just get out of there, get into the Christmas period, get into Boxing Day healthy, start to get work Reese back, start to work Fofana back, start to work Betty Shield back, just so we can have that depth and just take it one game at a time, and we'll see where we are in January. If we're still in and around Liverpool or in and around Arsenal, then we'll be forced to enter this title race. But still, folks want to push us into the title race. But if you ask the majority of fans, supporters, rivals, they'll still say, yeah, their defense and keeper is not good enough to win a title. So, and Liverpool fans will tell you Arsenal are their biggest threats. Arsenal will tell you that Liverpool is who they're ultimately chasing, and who they feel threatened by. So we'll see. We'll take it slow, and like I said, we're ahead of the curve. We're ahead of schedule with this group, and we will, just enjoy them. Just enjoy this good football. Enjoy this good run of form. It's been a while since we've had good times like this and confidence like this. So big up. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. See you on the next one.